One thing he mentioned in there, although it's not talked about much, is he would do two workouts per day, right? Keep in mind, this guy's running massive amounts of testosterone and D-ball. And every day he would do two workouts. And after those workouts, he would drink two beers, along with drinking his raw eggs and everything else he took. But those two beers do a massive thing for giving you some fast carbohydrates and allowing your body to have that atmosphere where it can actually take everything else you eat and shove it into your muscles. That's such a huge factor in bodybuilding, nutrient timing and giving your body the right nutrients because you have a relatively small anabolic window where your body's actually going to be putting everything you eat back in the muscle. The rest of the time, after about an hour after you work out, anything else you eat the rest of the day is basically going to get stored as fat
Yep.
if it's a calorie surplus.
Yep. So timing is always a thing, but if you're looking at it, as far as like trying to build muscle, look at how your body digests after a workout. That's a huge thing. If you're adding in, say, a CJC or even MK, something of that nature, you want to be able to have your diet in line to see the best results after you get done with those hardcore workouts. It is just the biggest part of that. Like every day when I finish with you, what's the first thing I do?
Eat.
I go eat.
Yeah. If my go-to meal for a long time has been beef and rice or a Five Guys burger with an extra patty.
Yep.
So it's that combination of the carbohydrates that are quickly digestible and that protein. Within 15 minutes of working out. And I will say, obviously we talk a lot about these kind of products on this channel. This channel started out with trying to help guys get healthier and find products that work and root out ones that didn't. Things like that. And I will say, and I've said this in many videos before, but don't waste your money on this stuff if you're not eating right.
Yes.
Because if you're not eating right, you might see some visible results taking some of these products, right? But if you're not healthy, if you're not feeding your body right, you're basically flushing your money. You'll see 10 times the results probably by eating healthy when you add these, as opposed to taking these without eating correctly for your body.
Correct. That's where the dedication factor comes in, having a proper plan in place when you are looking into a cycle of anything, whether it be peptides, whether it be, your regular steroid cycles, you have to have the right eating in place to be able to say, okay, this is what needs to happen in order for me to put these 10 pounds on and keep it. And then what's crazy to me is that you see a lot of people, and like over my lifetime, especially through the military and things afterward, people will do that eating, go get the size they want, right? And then they stop the eating
Yeah.
right after they finish up. And they're like, well, I don't know why I swelled back down. Well, you didn't maintain your mass.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge part of going from, okay, I'm at this size, right? Well, you got to look at it by number two with your calorie intake. That's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
You put on 10 pounds, equate for 10 pounds of calories that you need to upkeep,
Yeah.
and just do so by adding either more healthy food or figuring out I need more carbs to maintain this digestion protocol. Like that's a huge thing. That's another thing that I see considering a lot of diets, they don't talk about the digestive factor of these things. Like, chicken is considered a fast digestive protein. Fish is a fast digestive
Mm-hmm.
protein. Now, when you want to really bulk, that's why you see them go from a very heavy chicken dosage or, like a light egg diet, right? They'll switch it up. They add in the beef, they add in the turkey. That's your slower digested proteins in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Casein and proteins in general, guess where casein's isolated? It's isolated from beef.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting point here. And I think I might have talked about this in other videos before, but where we live, there's not a good place to go get fresh sushi, right? It just doesn't exist
No.
in this town. It's an hour and a half drive to the closest sushi place that's worth buying sushi at. The best gains I've ever made in my life, I was running TRT as a base, and I was running some SARMs on top of that. And I would finish up at the gym, and on the way back home, there was a sushi restaurant, and I would stop there and just pig out on sushi. Specifically, I would only eat raw fish sushi with the rice, right? So a lot of sashimi, a lot of raw fish, sushi rolls. I don't know why I'm blanking right now, but that's when I grew the fastest out of my entire lifehood of working out. Fresh raw sushi put on the most muscle for me the fastest.
Yeah, like for me, it became actually funny you say that. It's like when I was in the military, there was a really awesome place. I'll never forget this place, King Buffet. Holler at me. These guys knew me by first and last name, and I actually came really close with the owner because I would come in during bulks, and he would give me this deal. It was like $12 all you could eat, right? But he always noticed, he was like, the first thing you go for, he's like, you're always grabbing noodles, chicken, and rice.
Hmm.
And I said, well, that's everything I need right
Yeah.
there. But what's funny is like I would come back around, they had an on-site sushi lady that was incredible.
Hmm.
Hey, Gloria. She was incredible, guys. She was from the Philippines and just traditionally trained in Japan. She would make anything you asked for, anything. And so I would go up to her and I'd literally go up to her and I'd say, I need 8 rolls of your what was it, of your white fin tuna like sushi rolls. She's like, oh, okay, like yeah, no problem. That was my meal for after the gym, and I would come back, after 3 weeks of doing this, and I would be shredded. And she's like,
Hmm.
I just don't get it. And I'm like, gotta understand, I'm eating,
Yeah.
going from very heavy saturated protein like fleshy food to a very light protein fleshy food that digests much faster.
Hmm.
What's the running joke with sushi? You eat sushi now, you'll be hungry an hour
Yeah.
later. And that's the truth. Like, you do get very hungry very quick because what are you eating? You're eating fast digested carbs that are rice, and you're getting fish.
Yeah. Now I gotta throw in, and this is another unplanned topic for this video, but I gotta throw in a plug for intermittent fasting because I've done it in the past and it worked well for me. But for whatever reason, I'm a fatty. I like to eat. Recently, I decided to start doing intermittent fasting again, like I mentioned earlier in this video, and it's made a huge difference for my overall feeling of well-being and my ability to digest quickly. Um, so I'll eat one meal and then go work out and then eat my second meal, and that's it for the day, right?